right, we're ready to go. Missy, talk about how qualifying for this year's Women's Series was different and or similar to last year's event.
Well, qualifying for this year's Women's Series was definitely a lot different than last year. And it could be, part of the reason could be because of the bowling center. Last year we were at the National Bowling Stadium, and this year we're in Romeoville, just outside Chicago. But yeah, a lot of the patterns played a lot differently. And for instance, last year the shark pattern was very difficult. Scores were really low. And this year the shark pattern actually was pretty playable, and the scores were a lot higher than last year.
How do you think your experience of bowling in last year's Women's Series will help you in this coming year's?
Well, it's definitely going to help. Competing on the patterns with the men is a lot different than when we're competing, for instance, this week with just women bowling on the patterns. They break down a lot different, they play a lot different. And because I've had a lot of experience bowling regionals with the men, I'm very happy with all of my added experience for this upcoming Women's Series.
Is this format, bowling on 4 of the PBA patterns over 4 days, one of the most difficult that you've had to compete on in your career?
It definitely ranks right up there. I've actually bowled tour trials for the men's PBA tour, and that was equally as difficult. Same type of format, different pattern every day, a lot of games. For the Women's Series, we bowled 8 games a day. So yeah, it was definitely a grueling format. Got to figure the lanes out quick and try to really limit your mistakes and pick up your spares.
How will you take the experience of this week's into your season with you coming up?
Well, this week I'm just going to build off of it. Really, the patterns are going to be a lot differently when we're bowling with the men. So I'm just going to keep bowling PBA regional tournaments and get used to the patterns and go from there.
Is that pretty much how you'll prepare for the upcoming Women's Series, is bowl some regionals and events like that? Is there anything special other than that you'll be doing to prepare?
Yes. Besides bowling PBA regional tournaments, I'm also going to really work out and definitely put myself on a strict workout schedule and practice schedule for the upcoming season.
What are you most looking forward to in this upcoming season?
Everything. The fact that we have tournaments to bowl in is awesome. So I'm just looking forward to 7 tournaments. It's going to be great weeks out there, and I'm really excited.
What about the doubles event, mixed doubles? We haven't done that in a long time. You looking forward to that?
Yes, that should be a lot of fun. And plus, there's 32 women that gets bowled at, so there's going to be a lot of women there, a lot of the guys, and it's going to be a really fun tournament, so I'm excited.
Of the 4 patterns you competed on this week, which was your favorite and why?
My favorite pattern was the scorpion pattern. That tends to favor my game a little bit. I was able to go more up the boards and keep the ball straighter in play. And I also won one of my regional titles on that pattern, so really like that pattern.
What is your favorite piece of equipment to use when you're bowling on that pattern?
I tend to use my Twisted Fury, the pearl, and that ball just gets clean through the heads, and it doesn't really have a lot of back end movement, so it is a really mild ball, which is good on that pattern because I can keep it straighter.
Very nice. What is your least favorite pattern to bowl on?
My least favorite was Chameleon this week. It's a little tricky because you can play different parts of the lane, and so you really have to watch the moves too because the lanes break down really fast. So just trying to keep up with the moves and figuring out where to play is pretty difficult.
What is the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Well, what I just did ranks right up there. I struck out in the 10th frame to make the Women's Series, and I knew it was pretty close, so that was pretty amazing. Yeah. But besides that, making last year's Women's Series and also making last year's Women's U.S. Open, making my first 2 TV shows last year was amazing. Something you always dream about since you're a little kid. So.
Yeah. And that was 245 that last game to make it, by the way, so that was no small game. Last question. What do you enjoy doing off the lanes?
I enjoy going bodyboarding and going to the beach. I'm fortunate to live in Southern California, so one of my best things that I like to do to cross-train for bowling is actually to go bodyboarding. It's a little different than surfing for those of you that don't know what bodyboarding is. Surfing, you stand up on the board, while bodyboarding is a shorter board and you lay down on it and you're still catching the waves, and it's just really fun.
Ah, well, thank you very much, and best of luck in this upcoming season. I'm sure the fans can't wait to see you, and hopefully everybody comes out and sees you in an event this year.
Yes, thank you.